okay, how do we reason through why, this use case would be better as opposed to the technical issues? Those ones don't concern me.
Yeah, no. So if we reason through why these things can be better, I mean, like, take, for example, no one's done this yet. This is one of those like promised things, but the real estate transaction that takes 3 months, needs title, needs all these things that take a long time. You could theoretically make all of these things NFTs. And NFT doesn't mean there's going to be like a house with a picture of a monkey on it, but these things could all be NFTs and you could transact very quickly. You could borrow against them in a global market as opposed to having to go to Bank of America to take out your mortgage. You have a more kind of open system that people are able to, I think, transact in more creative ways in.
That's so I put my house on the blockchain and then I can borrow against it.
Yeah. You can put your house on the blockchain, borrow against it, which again, like here actually is, like a lot of the use cases are like, well, imagine that you're in a place where, inflation is super high. And so this is.
Okay. But let's just do that one because that's my favorite one. I put my house on the blockchain, which doesn't really mean anything because you can't physically put it on the blockchain. And then somebody lends me whatever, 500,000 USDC or some stable coin. And then I take it and I buy some ridiculous NFT of Logan. It's probably worth 600,000 or something.
Yeah, a lot.
And then it goes to zero because they actually look at it. And now you need the money, right? Because you lent me that $500,000. I'm just like working this through. Like you lent me the $500,000 because my digital house was on the blockchain. And then you say, okay, Zach, that Logan thing was pretty stupid. I need your house. This is the record of your house that I own. And then I say, no. What do? You show up to the sheriff's department and you like, look at this like piece of cryptography that says I own this house. Like what, that's what I mean. Like, what does that even mean? How do you get the house?
I think there's two separate things here. What I think you're saying implies that like the law never touches crypto. And there's like this whole separate universe. Same thing that would happen if you took out a mortgage and didn't pay would happen. You'd get repossessed.
Right.
Same thing would happen here.
Because the bank owns like the title to the house and I've signed a bunch of legal documents showing that I've given them that. And those legal documents are basically what you're saying is we're going to recreate the entire system and just have a public record of it. That's all. That's like, to me, that's exactly what, wherever you walk these ideas through, it always ends up with like,
no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like right now you go to a Bank of America or wherever else. In this case, you might tap into a wider pool of borrowers who are lenders in this case, get a lower cost of capital, not negotiate with the same bank and be able.
Why would I get a lower cost of capital from a random person versus a massive bank like Wells Fargo?
Well, you wouldn't, it'd be from a pool of people. I don't know.
Yeah. It's like, it's just, it doesn't work. Like,
but I don't think it doesn't.
I'm all for like the technology is cool, but like there's no, as you work the idea through, the minute you put an on real asset on chain, you realize, oh, right. Like the only reason I can borrow against these real assets is because there is a document that the US court system will enforce.
There's a document in this case too here. And there's no reason that the US court system wouldn't enforce it. It's a smart contract as opposed to like a ream of papers or an online document.
But then what makes it smart? The whole point of a smart contract is that the computer can do everything. And here what you're saying is I've got to now take this contract to the US court system. I have to prove that I own it. I need the sheriff to then show up and get me out. You've just recreated the entire mortgage infrastructure that already exists today.
On the blockchain.
But that exactly, right. It's like, and then I'm lost as to like why the on the blockchain part matters. Besides, basically what everyone means is they mean, oh, I want a public record of the transaction. Okay, right? Like, sure, that's the thing you're looking for. But ultimately, every other step in the process is essentially the exact same thing you have to do in the real world.
Yeah, I mean, and I got wrecked on the mortgage example because I've never thought through that one before.